Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lily, and I'm so happy that you are joining me on my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to continue working on the junk journal covers, using up some of my junky junk and also some of my own personal stash. In the last video, we left off with me opening up some junk mail so that I could save the junk mail envelopes, and I have now coffee dyed them, and this is how they turned out. They turned out really cool, and I'm actually surprised that some of the ink came off from some of the envelopes with the coffee dyeing process, and I only coffee dyed these 4 envelopes. I do have more, but I just wanted to do a quick coffee dyeing, and so I just did the 4 that I had opened. We're also going to be using some matte gel medium because we're going to do like some decoupage and on the covers. So this is what the covers look like. This is where we left off, where I only worked on cutting them down to size and also lining the inside of the covers. I have collected some of my things, some of the items that I want to use for the outside of the junk journal covers, and I went through some of my pocket cards and my Project Life cards, and I came across these 2 items. One of them is a photograph and then a pocket journaling card that I want to use on the covers, and then some of these beautiful French lace doilies that I bought several years ago. And one of them was coffee dyed and one of them I left as it was. And then these were some of the offcuts from the scrapbooking paper that I used for the inside of the covers. And look at these beautiful treat bags. Now these are new treat bags that I have been holding on to for a little bit. The design is so cute, you guys. It's these cute little mice in like a garden or a forest. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. I can't get enough of these little mice. They're so cute. Not so cute in real life, but right here in cartoon, they are absolutely adorable. I picked up these treat bags at a shop in Salt Lake County called Not in Spool, and it's another one of my favorite local shops. I love it. And they sell all these really cute little things and stationery, but they're known for spools of ribbon. But I'm trying to bring up the image closer so you could see how cute it is. So cute. So I had enough time to think about what I wanted to do for the outside of the cover. And I decided that I am going to use paper to cover the outside. And then I want to create like a little, oh my gosh, I'm at a loss of words. I was thinking about doing Artie Mays does them a lot. A topper. I was going to make a topper. Something like that. And so I just grabbed this beautiful coral colored distressed scrapbooking paper from that same paper pad that I used to line the inside. Oh, where is my mind? I can't even speak today. That's because I'm doing these voiceovers in the middle of the night. It's been a long day. Oh yeah, I want to show you really quick, okay, really quick, my Junky Junk box. And these are some of the things that I have been saving to use in my junk journals or in whatever it is that I want to create, because I also do other projects as well, little arts and crafts and things, but mainly for my junk journals. And This is the acetate that I have been collecting that I've cut down to size. I don't know how I'm going to use it, but I saved it. And then I did purchase a planner for 2022. And this is a small shop that I found online that my daughter suggested, Amanda Rackley. And she does these great little planners. And my daughter has been using her planners for a couple years now, and she thought I would like it. Anyway, I ordered her planner for 2022. I was going to make one, but I ran out of time. And it's now 2022, and I needed a planner like right now, like today. And so some of the just bits and pieces of junk that I save, if it catches my attention, or if I see it and I like the design or the pattern, then I'll save it. And I'll hold on to it for a little bit and put it to use. If after a while I really haven't used it, and I have no plan for it, then I will put it into the recycle bin. But I like to use a lot of packaging because I can make tags out of those, and I've done that in the past. There are little sacks, also cut up tissue boxes, junk mail envelopes. Other than white ones, I have colored ones too. Packaging, the tags. And so just a random collection of trash that I want to repurpose. These Tim Holtz packaging tags, I love those. Those are great to use to make large tags, or even just to cut out. The design on it is pretty cool. Pieces of corrugated cardboard. So I like using this. And the corrugated cardboard, I like to run it through the Big Shot to flatten it out a little bit. And I love using it to die cut hearts. I love corrugated die cut hearts. So that's why I saved that. And in fact, I need to be using it for some die cutting. That'll be fun. And then there's that roll of cardboard, paper towel cardboard roll. It's a bamboo. I'm trying to use more bamboo products, and I noticed that the core is super sturdy. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'm going to use that core. In the meantime, my granddaughter likes playing with it, so if that's all it's used for, then that's okay. It's being repurposed and reused. So I'm going to cut the bottom part of the treat bags because I'm going to spread it out or cut it out so that I can glue it down to the cover. So I'm just cutting off that bottom. I'm looking at it because I'm going to save it because there's plenty left over to be able to use in maybe some collage or using in other areas of the junk journal. And I do use it further down in the video. I do use bits and pieces of it for other projects. I want to make some tags, and I also want to collage on some of those coffee dyed envelopes. So aside from working on the junk journal cover, I am going to be working on making a couple of tags with the scrapbooking paper, and also working on, I think I work on one coffee dyed envelope, but that's further along. Right now, I just want to cut the paper down and adhere it to the outside cover. I'm looking for the seam. The treat bag has a seam, and so that's the edge I'm going to use to cut it open. I love this paper, and the next opportunity I have to go back to Knot and Spool, I sure hope they still have these treat bags because I only bought 2 of them. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I knew it wasn't going to be for treats because I loved the paper so much. Now, I thought long and hard about what I wanted to use for the outside cover, and there are just so many options, from fabric to all kinds of different papers, and as many options as I have, and I could have gone in so many different directions. I wanted to also do something different, because in most of the junk journals that I've made recently, or even last year, most of them were made with a fabric cover, and I love those. But I also want to try other things and see how it turns out, because I am really, as I'm creating, I'm also experimenting with new techniques or old techniques. For example, I haven't used this matte medium in years. I haven't decoupaged in years, and so going back to the basics is also fun, and that's what I'm doing with this. It was so difficult to get that jar of matte medium open. I struggled so much because it's been sealed maybe 3 or 4 years, and I'm just so happy that it was still in good condition. But I had to soak the container in hot water to loosen up that the lid in order for me to get it open. I'm telling you guys, I'm going through my stash, I'm going through my supplies, and I plan on cleaning house and using up the things that I have. And this is one of them. So that's another reason why I wanted to go in this direction and to use up those supplies. And like I mentioned in the previous video, I've been going through my stash, opening boxes and drawers and things like that, and refamiliarizing myself with my stash. And that means that I'm using it too. So just slathered the matte medium down on the cover, and then laid that beautiful printed paper on it. I'm setting it aside so that it can dry. And I'm working on 2 junk journal covers. Because if I'm making one, I'm going to make 2. I like to work in multiples. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the first one to this one. This one, however, has a little bit of an embossing on it, and I try to smooth it down as best as I could. I did edit out all of the decoupaging because it was basically the same thing I did with the first one. I was just repeating the same process, but just smoothed it all down. And I'm doing the best I can to smooth everything down so that it adheres as best as it can on to the cover. So, but it worked. And this little gadget that I have, it's actually a makeup applicator that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Either me or my sister. But it worked really nice, and I don't have to wash a brush, which is really nice. So it makes it really good, because if you leave it to dry, in fact, I think I left a wet brush on my desk. Oh, I did. With glue. So after I'm done with this, I have to go to my desk and rinse out a brush. Oh, I'm glad I remembered. But that's why you use a silicone applicator, and then if the glue or paint dries on it, it comes right off the silicone. But if you use a bristle brush, you have to remember to clean it. So that's one of the advantages of using the silicone brush. However, I do use a distress bristle brush. Say that 10 times fast. Distress bristle brush in just a bit. And then that's the one I have to go and clean up. So I'm trimming it all the way around. And this is this the second cover? I think this is the second cover. I'm trimming it all the way around. Yeah, I found cutting very therapeutic because I tend to work kind of fast when I'm working with projects, but when it comes to cutting or fussy cutting, it makes me slow down, and then that's the therapeutic part of it where you need to take time to get some tasks done, which I enjoyed. And notice how I didn't fold over the cover to bring it into the inside, and that's because I want the look of a raw edge all the way around the border, because I am planning on stitching it as well. And I do the stitching off camera, and I've done that with the fabric covers where I don't fold it over and I leave a raw edge with the stitching, and that's basically the same thing I want to do with this as well. Oh, so that was the first cover that I trimmed down. So now I'm trimming down the second one. And so now I've cut it all down. And I believe they are both now, what am I feeling? I'm trying to remember what I did. Oh, this is the one that has a little bit of the packaging had a little bit of an embossing on it. And I was just feeling for it to make sure that it was adhered down to the cover. So now that I've cut them all down to size and they've all been glued down with the matte medium, I'm actually already stitched all around. And I just used the thread that was in the machine. So the inside will have brown thread, and then the outside is, I believe it's a chartreuse color. But it turned out really nice. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I was applying the matte medium to the cover, I didn't apply too much to the edges because I knew I was going to run it through the sewing machine. Oh, the fabric got caught a little bit there on the inside. I point that out in just a moment. Oops. But that's okay, because I will probably end up using some trim or some lace to cover up that edge on the inside, just to add a little decorative element to the inside. And if I don't, that's okay. Remember, I want it to look kind of junky. I want the cover to be, the journal, the finished product, to look like it was made from junk. I don't want it to be I don't want it to look, what's the word? I want it to look handmade. And so if there's going to be imperfections, I'm okay with that. So now the next step is I am going to put or apply the matte gel medium to the outside cover. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of wear and tear and use from the cover, or just from using the junk journal. And that paper is just too cute not to protect. And basically for durability and longevity, however long that is. And I'm just going to, I think I'm still debating. And I remember going back and forth, if I was going to move forward with the matte medium. And this is where I remembered that I had the Tim Holtz Distress brush. And as much as I liked using the silicone applicator, the brush, I thought the brush would be a lot more even, especially because I'm using it on the outside of the cover. The silicone was perfect. It's in between the sheets. It worked fine. You know what? Either one works great. I like them both. I just remembered I had this distress brush and I wanted to use it. And this is the one I have to go and wash because it's on my desk. I did wrap it in a baby wipe so that it wouldn't dry out. So I'm hoping it's still moist and not all stiff and dry. Oh my gosh. So I wanted it to be smoother and for it to be more evenly coated on the outside. That's why I opted for this one. And so I cut out, it took me a little bit longer to do this, but I cut out or edited a lot of that time it took me to to apply the matte medium on the cover. I'm just going over the edges. And this was fun to do. I haven't done this in several years, so this was a fun process. I enjoyed it. I need to do this more often. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the second cover and apply the matte medium on there. And I also condensed it so that you're not watching me apply this for 10 minutes. So now I'm going to set these aside to dry and actually put them close to the heat vent so they could dry. And I am going to, what do I do? Oh, that's right. I start making these tags. So while the junk journal covers are drying, I thought it would be fun to work on making a couple of tags. Nothing fancy, but when I used the scrapbooking papers and I had these offcuts left over, they were like the perfect size for tags. And so I thought, let's just make some tags from them, from the offcuts. So I'm just trimming some little, what do they call these? Dog ears? Dog ears? Just cutting the little corners off. I want to give out a huge thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you that have been here with me these past couple of years. And thank you to everyone that has also elected to subscribe and stick around here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for helping my channel grow. Thank you. And watching me do what I enjoy doing. Thank you. I sure hope you find this inspiring and helpful in your crafting journey. Whatever it is that you do, junk journaling, scrapbooking, repurposing, all of it. I love all of it. Working with the scrapbooking papers does make me miss actual scrapbooking. And I was just telling my sister that I'd like to do more of the pocket journaling, like the Project Life. I enjoy working on my Project Life albums, so I need to get back to that. And I like the traditional scrapbooking as well, but I have so many scrapbooking albums and not enough space, not enough place to put them. And the nice thing about the pocket journaling is you can tell a story in a little, in smaller spaces, and you can fill more memories into a pocket album than a traditional scrapbooking album. I love them both, but pocket journaling is what I'm really have been into lately. I just haven't done it in a couple years. I want to add some of these reinforcers, and I wanted them to be, I wanted them to have this stained look, this vintage look, and I didn't have any, so I just, I'm showing you how it is that I stain them. And I've done this, I think I had a video a couple months ago where I painted and glittered and did all kinds of different things to some reinforcers. But this is the one, these are the ones that I use up the most. The ones with the distress ink. Super easy tags to make. I also like to make tags out of packaging. And when I do that, in fact, there were a couple in my Junky junk box. There were a couple of tags that I started making from packaging. One of them was from a tissue box, and the other was from, what was it? Was it an Oil of Olay packaging box that I cut a tag out of? And when they're like that, I'll just decoupage over them. Do a collage. Just collage over it. Maybe add some coffee dyed paper to the back for journaling. Super easy tags. As I was peeling these off with this little tool, it was distressing or cutting the reinforcers, but I like that look. It was kind of giving it a little jaggedy edge around that circle. And I thought, ooh, that looks pretty cool. So these are all some of the beginning stages for a lot of the items that I want to use in the junk journals. The beginning stages. But I do want to finish these junk journals in the next couple of days, because one of them will be my own personal 2022 junk journal, and so I want to start using it. I've been really good about using my my planner because I've had planners in the past and I'm really good at using them the first couple of months and then I forget about it. But this one that I just bought, it's I like it. I like the layout. I like the format. Everything about it I really like. So I think it'll be one that I use all year long. So for this junk mail envelope, I just cut it down to size just so that the tag will fit in there perfectly. And I'll probably end up gluing it down to one of the pages in the junk journal. Not sure, but I think it'll look nice. And I really like the way I love the junk mail envelopes with windows because you can do so much with those windows. So now I'm just going to use some of the leftover pieces of that beautiful little mouse paper. And I'm going to just attach it there at the bottom. And I'm not done with these. I don't finish them. But again, it's just the beginning stages of them. I will go back and further embellish these. I'll do more collage work on them. Add some word stickers, some phrases. Add more little embellishments to them. But I was just experimenting, kind of just working with what I had there on the table from the same supplies that I'm using to create. Using it up so that I'm not just adding more scraps of paper and more junk to the pile. Let's just use up everything that we're currently using. All those extra scraps, bring them back in and use them in the project. So that's what I'm trying to do. These are also leftover pieces of the avocado dyed cotton that I used for the inside of the cover. So again, just using up everything all the leftovers. So these are just a starting point. And I'm glad that I'm able to use those little bits and pieces of paper on all of these other elements, the tags, the envelopes. So cute. So I'm just pointing out the fact that I will add more embellishments to it as we continue to work on these projects. But for right now, we're just going to tuck them away and save them for later. Now it's time to continue to work on the covers. And yeah, I need to remember to put the pin on that little foam that's on the side of the bottle. Oh my gosh. Old habits are hard to break, and taking the little the pin off the glue tip. Oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to remember to stick it there on the side. I'm surprised I haven't lost it yet. Okay, so I'm going to work on the covers. So they're still drying, and I want to use one of these for each of the journals. And this is what I had in mind. I want to take the picture and just mat it onto that coral colored paper. Pretty simple to start with, but again, just a starting point. And as I was doing it, all of these other ideas were coming to me, adding, in the future, I will add maybe some tabs and some trim, maybe even a book plate on the front. So all these other ideas were coming to me as I was working. But I really did have to I wanted to keep this video at about 45 minutes. I was aiming for 30 minutes even after editing, but 45 minutes, it is what it is. I could have easily gone over an hour. I love this image. Absolutely love it. That little vintage, what is it, like a little Mini Cooper? It is so cute. So just kind of playing around with the pieces to see how they'll look best onto the cover. I'm doing the same thing with this one. Just kind of playing around with it. These are my favorite doilies. They are so delicate and pretty, and I can't remember where I purchased them. I have a few more left, but they're just my favorite. That detail around them, so cute and delicate. This idea, by the way, of using the pocket card on the front of a journal, that I drew inspiration from Pink Oddbird, and she has a video that's maybe a couple years old where she was working on junk journal covers, and she uses the journaling cards or the pocket cards on the covers, and so that's where that idea came from. And then as I was looking through my collection of journaling cards, in that same album where I keep them, I had that picture of that little card. I'm like, oh, I had it in there because I was hoarding it. I love it so much. And I believe, yep, I reached over to get the covers because they are now completely dry. And it was a pretty thin layer, and so it wasn't going to take too long to dry. But look at how the covers are turning out. I think they're turning out really, really nice. They're not perfect. They're going to have imperfections. But yeah, I really like how they turn out, and I love the way that matte gel medium feels on the cover. So now let's glue down the bits and pieces to the cover. And the colors work so well together. It was just happenstance. Now, one thing I didn't do is measure out the front. So the front cover is only 6 inches wide. And so you're going to see where I make a mistake here. And I didn't position it right. So the doily overlaps onto the spine. So if you so if you're going to glue a topper or anything to the front cover, fold your cover, or put a marker down so that you could see the area that you're working with, and you're able to position it just right so it doesn't overlap onto the spine or any of the edges. So you could see here how it overlaps, but I didn't catch it until after I glued it down, but I fix it. And I really do like how that's turning out. In the next video, oh, see, look what I did. It overlaps onto the spine, and that glue, that art glitter glue, dries so fast. And I didn't like that. It wasn't working for me. I thought about just gluing it over the edge, maybe cutting it, but it's off-centered, and that was going to bug me. So look what I do. Just tear it right up. It's paper. We can fix it. So just be careful when you're gluing things down. Make sure you position, position it just right before committing. I didn't. I just kind of went for it. It tore up the doily a little bit, but I like how that looked. So that was a happy accident. So you could see how it tore there. It looks distressed on the right hand side. I like that. I'm going to do that. And there, that is going to look so much better. And I'm only adding glue. Notice how I only added glue to the center of that card, because around the edges, I'm probably going to add other little elements around the edges, maybe tabs, maybe, I don't know, something. So the edges are still, aren't glued down. So I'll continue working on the cover a little bit more, but that looks so much better now, where it's not overlapping. You see how the edges are they're not glued down? Yeah, I'm going to continue working on that. So as I was saying, in the next video, I might even be done in one more video. I'll just need to select the pages and finish embellishing the cover just a little bit, and then embellishing those pages. So hopefully in my next video, I will get it done. Hope so. I hope so. So I'm going to do the same thing, and notice what I do here. I lay a marker down so that I can clearly see the area that I'm working with. Yeah. But this is how we learn from our mistakes. So we have to play in order to create, mistakes and all. And the same thing here. I'm not going to the edges, but look at how pure. I forgot that I cut out all the other I kind of jumped forward. No, I actually ran out of time. It cut me off after an hour. And I'm so glad that I caught it, and I started recording again. That's what happened. So look at how beautiful that looks, you guys. I wish I had 2 of these pictures. I don't remember where I purchased this, or my sister thinks she gave it to me. I don't remember, but I wish I had 2. I love this cover so much. Love it. and the colors, everything about it is so perfect. And here they are, the two covers, you guys. Aren't they beautiful? I think they're beautiful. If you're still with me after 45 minutes, you guys, thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate you so much. I know this is longer than the videos that I normally make, but you know, once you start creating, you just can't stop. Thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you so much. And if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to join me. You guys, you take care. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time, okay? Take care. Bye.